Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Last Plague, Blight. Also known as The Last Plague because The Last Plague Blight ends up being a kind of a tongue twister. But anyway, welcome to this guide slash tutorial slash let's play that I do. Very similar to the one I've done in the past with Asuka. I'm unsure if I'm going to make this an episode 0 because there's going to be a couple things to talk about before we hop into the game and kind of a bit of a primer as to what you're going to be looking for in a map. But very quickly, very fast, we're going to go into settings, and I believe it's gameplay. And you're going to do quick pickups. We want this selected, and I will tell you why later. You're also going to want to go back to, I believe it's controls. Let me see. Which one is it? Man, there's another thing that I wanted you guys to look at. Now I can't remember what it is. Where's it? Where's it? Quick pickups. Speed up time ability. That's what it is. It's going to be on some interactions. Turn that to all interactions. Okay? This is really important. They're going to really help you with speeding up certain things in the game. And they don't they're part of the game. It's nothing that's going to change the way the game plays or alter it in any significant way, besides the fact that you're not going to be sitting there staring at your screen for too long. Okay? Now, aside from those two things, we're going to go ahead and create a new game. I'm going to be playing on standard difficulty with the less realistic playstyle. There's an easier mode. It's going to have less predators. It's going to make things a little bit easier. For people that have never really played survival games, that can be something that you can pick. It doesn't change significantly how the game plays, but it does make it easier for people to start off. And then as far as playstyle goes, if you go more realistic, you don't get a marker on your map. You get a compass to start with, and you kind of have to figure it out. You don't know where you are on the map. You have to use things around you to find out where you are and what you're doing as far as where you are location to the map. Okay, I'm going to keep it on less realistic just because it makes things a little simpler. Okay, now you do have tutorial hints and tutorials down here. I'm going to keep them on just because I'm trying to prime you guys as far as what it is that's going on in the game and how to get it a little bit faster, right? We want to get you started. We don't want to have a lot of the frustrations that may come with the first parts of playing a game. But the tutorials are decently good for kind of getting you going, right? Now, we're going to hit begin. And one of the things that I'm going to be hunting down is once we go in, I'm going to show you the map. We're going to be looking for a couple things. And unless I find that in the very first load that I do, usually that never happens, once I talk about it, I'll be reloading the map a couple times until I find what I'm looking for. Unfortunately, there is no seed system in the game so far as I know. Hopefully that's something that's added later on where you can plug in a manual seed. That way for things like Let's Plays or tutorials and stuff like that, or if people like a really nice seed that they like and they want to play over and over again, that can be something that's done. As of right now, though, there is no seed system that I know of. So I'm going to go ahead and hit begin. It's going to do its thing, and it's going to load everything up. Give it a second. The generation does take a little bit. And there we go. Day 1. And your loony spawned into this ferret. Okay. Now, before I do anything, I'm not going to even follow the tutorials at the bottom. I'm going to hit M for map, and I'm going to look at my map. Now, what do I want to see? I want to see, preferably, a river that kind of makes its way all the way through to the sea. And that hopefully cuts a decent amount of the land through. Now, this map is very deceiving, okay? You're going to look at this map and you're like, oh yeah, that's okay. It's a pretty decent sized map, and it's deceiving because of your player icon, okay? This section right here is actually pretty big. The scale of it seems very odd. It will take you all of the in-game day to go from this corner all the way to this corner out here, especially if you're not using roads. Roads are going to be a little bit faster, stuff like that. Now, I'm looking for a map that has a river very similar to this. Now, the biggest problem that I have with this one is this would have worked, but there is a swamp here. And unfortunately, swamps are kind of a pain in the butt to cross. So this particular map won't work for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording here, and I'm going to keep on searching for a map that I like. Once I find a map that I like, I'll bring you guys back, and I'll kind of show you what it is that I'm looking for, okay? So be back in a bit. Alrighty, and I'm back, and I have found the map that I am looking for. So, look here, we're going to zoom in. I am in this crossroads right here, and this river goes all the way through, and into the sea. Now, why does that matter? There is going to be a time when you need to get off of this area and go into this area here. And traveling on the water and on the river's edge, and eventually you do get a raft. It's not very fast, but traveling in the river is much more effective because you're not having to deal with predators and you're not having to deal with as much stamina issues, okay? So you definitely want to stick to that. Now, I did get a really good spawn just in general. We're right here. We can go ahead and go to this area down here, be by the river, be surrounded by trees. Very close by, there's going to be mountains. The mountains are going to be important for metals later on. And there's a swamp nearby, which we'll have to go to eventually, okay? But this is actually a very, very decent map. And what I've done is, as soon as I found it, I saved it. That way I can load while I wait for me to explain what I'm going to explain and talk about what I'm going to talk, okay? We're kind of going to go through some of the basic controls and stuff like that, and then we'll move on to the actual in-game stuff, okay? Now, I've already talked about map. Map is M. Map is important, okay? Now, right now, I have my axe equipped. Left click, if you hold it, you're going to charge, let go, and it's going to do a power attack. Your axe is not very good, so don't rely on it to save you. just as an FYI, okay? We can zoom in, especially if you have gone to your settings and messed around with your camera angles. This right here will let you zoom in quite a bit and almost get a basically a third-person view, okay? I tend to play very close like this and then move out depending on the situation. Unfortunately, the camera has to be moved in middle mouse click. Hopefully that'll change someday, and maybe we'll get a true third-person control. But as of right now, that's what's here. Now, for me, it's tab. You're going to get your backpack. Your backpack has a bedroll. It's got a knife, which we can put into this belt slot here. That way it occupies less space. And you got a little bit of food, okay? This is not going to last you very long. We also have no water on us. So we definitely want to be establishing a camp soon, okay? But we're just talking about controls right now. Now, as far as the belt goes, the belt is a separate storage area. There are certain things you'll be able to put on your belt. There are certain things you will not be able to. Now, cool little addition though. If you look, I might not be able to see it. If I click one of the keypad or the mouse or the numpad buttons or the buttons, and I hit 3, he'll put the axe away. And now it's actually in my belt slot down here. There is a primary and an offhand in this game, so you can totally have things in your offhand. Like for example, I can do this. So now I'm holding a sausage in one hand and an axe in another. And then you do have some sorting. So you can sort vertically and horizontally. That matters because there's certain things that you're going to pick up that are going to be longer. Now, another important key is if I hit Alt, that's going to bring up all the stuff that's on the ground near my general area. Now, I still use this. I think like 30 hours into the game, probably. There are certain things that are kind of hard to see. Now, that rock, I know it's there, right? I know these dog bones are here, but sometimes you'll get into a specific area where maybe you're looking for certain things and they're hard to find. That is what Alt key is for, okay? Now, there is a hold interaction and a toggle interaction. If you go to the controls here, where is it? Is it under controls? Toggle highlight nearby items, okay? So I have it under toggle. That way when I click on it, it stays on. I don't have to hold the button. Depending on your situation and how you like it, you might want to change that. The other important key is going to be the T, as in tango. And why is that key going to be important? Well, let's go stand by a bunch of stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm going to cut a tree to show you. That's going to be easier. So let me cut this tree. I'm going to go ahead and left click it. That's going to go into a chopping animation. As you can tell, it takes a bit, but there's this keys down here, and this is going to speed it up. And this is where that speed up interactions comes in. Now you're going to notice there's a lot of stuff on the ground here, right? And having to click on everything individually, I can click on the stick, then I can click on this pine branch, right? All that stuff, it's going to get kind of annoying. But if I hold T, boom, I have picked up everything. I didn't have to sit there individually clicking everything. Now it's not sorted, and you're going to pick up every random thing that you come across. But it is easier than sitting there clicking each individual part, okay? Aside from that, you're going to want to know that your C, that's going to open your create menu or your crafting menu. So these are things you're going to craft in your hands. B is going to be your build menu. So these are things you're going to have to put materials into. So for example, if we go to build a home or a lean-to, you would place this down like this, and then you'd fill it with items. So you add from inventory. Okay, that's one thing. And then R is going to let you repair your tools out on the field, assuming you have what's required to repair them. So, for example, if I have I'm going to go ahead and dismantle this really quick, which does take a little bit of time, but I'm going to take this long stick. If I right-click it, I can craft with it, and that's going to give you the ingredients, or what I can craft with long sticks. I'm going to make this improvised spear real quick. Now, I have this improvised spear. I'm going to put that in my hand, and I'm going to use it really quick. Now, that's going to take some damage. Now, it's got damage. If I hit R, I can repair my improvised spear using my steel knife. Okay. J is going to be your journal. It's going to keep track of some information. It's also going to keep a catalog of the things that you've encountered as you've encountered them and give you a little bit more information on them. Map we've already talked about. And then you have a lie down. Lie down will let you sleep, but it is dangerous and you will not rest all the way. So you definitely don't want to be doing this just out of the willy-nilly unless you absolutely have to. You really want to be using your bedroll. Okay? Now, the other thing to worry about is this guy right here. Now, it's called the last plague, Blight. What hazard a guess as to what this green smoke is? It's the Blight. Now, every day that ticks over, the Blight will spread. You're going to get more of it. It's going to encroach on you. You're going to have less spots that you can walk on. There's random spots of Blight out in the middle of the map. So you'll find just random spots where there's Blight. And then every town has Blight in it. Every single one of them. And part of the story is figuring out a way to get rid of this Blight. Right? Now, as far as that goes, that's pretty much it for the primer. Like, really not much else to talk about. You're going to be zooming in and out a lot. You're going to have this reticle to work on as far as targeting things goes. Yeah. We'll go into the first episode. So not too long of an episode, just getting you kind of primed up. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.